We're out here scouting distant galaxies for aliens, but the truth is, they're already here. Right under your feet, deep in the ocean, or even in your own backyard, there are creatures with DNA that looks like it was beamed down from another planet. Some have no brains, yet they're outsmarting us. Others can live forever or survive the freezing vacuum of space. But number one on our list is so bizarre that scientists are still arguing, is it even an animal at all or some kind of biorobot from the future? Meet the toughest inhabitant of our planet. If a giant asteroid hits Earth tomorrow, the oceans boil away, or the atmosphere just evaporates. We're gone in seconds. But this guy? He wouldn't give a damn. This is the tardigrade. It's less than 1 millimeter long, but inside, it's packed with technology that's centuries ahead of our science. Scientists have tried to kill it in every way possible. They froze it to minus 272 degrees. That's almost absolute zero, where atoms literally stop moving. It didn't care. They blasted it in an oven at 150 degrees. It didn't even break a sweat. But the craziest part happened in the year 2007. A group of tardigrades was tossed into open space right off the International Space Station. No spacesuits, no oxygen, just deadly radiation. 10 days later, they brought them back in. And what did they do? They just woke up and started looking for snacks. They even laid healthy eggs like nothing happened. How? When things get dangerous, the tardigrade turns into a raisin. It dries itself out, replacing the water in its cells with a special sugar that turns into solid glass. In this state, it can lie around for 30 years without food or water and then come back to life from a single drop of rain. There are already hundreds of tardigrades on the moon. They stayed there after an Israeli probe crashed in 2019. Technically, they are the first lunar colonizers, which leaves us with one question. If nature built something so perfectly shielded for space, maybe Earth isn't actually their home. If the tardigrade is a biological tank built to survive the void of space, then our next guest is the one who probably came from there. Scientists are still arguing over how a creature with such an alien body even ended up on Earth. Meet the closest thing to an extraterrestrial intelligence on our planet. An octopus doesn't have just one heart, it has 3. And its blood isn't red like ours, it's blue. But the real mind-blower is its brain. Or rather, its 9 brains. The main processor is in the head, but each of its 8 tentacles has its own mini-computer. Every tentacle can decide for itself how to grab prey or open a jar without even asking the head for permission. It's like if your hands could cook dinner on their own while you're reading a book. Its skin is the most advanced 4K display in nature. An octopus changes not only its color, but its texture in a split second, turning prickly like coral or smooth like a pebble. And it does this perfectly, even though it's colorblind. It literally feels color with its skin instead of seeing it with its eyes. But the biggest shock for science happened when they looked into its genes. Octopuses can recode their own genetic DNA on the fly to adjust to the water temperature. We call this RNA editing. It's a technology of the future that they've owned for millions of years. 3 hearts, blue blood, and the ability to change its nature with a snap of its fingers. If this isn't an alien, then evolution clearly decided to use it as a lab experiment. But if the octopus is an individual mind, then our next hero is a collective intelligence. We're used to thinking of them as just a side dish for a steak or a pizza topping, but in reality, mushrooms are the largest and smartest network on Earth. Compared to them, our internet is just a toy. What you see in the forest is just the fungus's reproductive organs. The real body is hidden underground. It's called mycelium, an endless web of tiny, ultra-thin white threads. If you've ever stepped on forest soil, know this. Beneath your feet are hundreds of miles of living biowires. It's called the Wood Wide Web. Fungi created their own internet millions of years before the invention of Wi-Fi. Through this network, trees in the forest actually talk to each other. An old tree can send nutrients to a dying sapling on the other side of the woods, or send out a distress signal about a pest invasion. In this world, fungi are the providers, the mailmen, and even the police. You thought the blue whale was the largest creature? Think again. In the state of Oregon, there's a honey mushroom that covers an area of 1,500 football fields. Its mycelium weighs hundreds of tons, and it's nearly 9,000 years old. It has watched the rise and fall of civilizations while remaining the invisible master of the forest. Mycelium can count, remember paths, and even make decisions. If its network is damaged, it finds a detour instantly. We are walking on a giant, ancient processor that manages life on this planet. And while we're staring at our smartphones, this network is reading our every step. But if the mycelium runs the forest, then our next creature has learned something even cooler. It has learned how to cheat time itself. It simply learned how to hack its biological clock and wind back time. While we're out here searching for the elixir of youth, this tiny jellyfish is using it every single day. Meet Turritopsis dohrnii. To the naked eye, it looks like a basic, transparent umbrella no bigger than your pinky nail. No, it's the only creature on Earth officially considered immortal. When this jellyfish gets old, sick, or injured, it doesn't die. It pulls off a trick that scientists call transdifferentiation. It literally turns back into a baby. First, it sinks to the ocean floor, transforms into a shapeless blob of cells, and then becomes a polyp again. Its very first stage of development. It's like if you were 80 years old and suddenly turned into an infant to start life all over again with the exact same set of genes. And it can do this an infinite number of times. Because of their ability to cheat death, these jellyfish have become silent colonizers. They hitch a ride in the ballast water of ships and spread all over the world. They are practically invulnerable to time. If nothing eats them, they'll still be floating in the ocean 1,000,000 years from now, long after humanity has possibly vanished. But if this jellyfish is a miracle of life, then our next hero is a total nightmare, one that chose the strangest survival method imaginable. Meet the deep-sea anglerfish. It's a living trap with needle-like teeth and a glowing lantern on its head. No, behind its terrifying appearance lies a secret that leaves biologists scratching their heads. See this massive, toothy fish? It's always a female. So, where are the males? A male anglerfish is 10 times smaller. He has no purpose in life except for one, to find a female in the eternal darkness. When he finally finds her, he bites into her flesh and starts to dissolve. His lips fuse with her skin, and their circulatory systems merge into one. The male loses his eyes, his fins, and all of his internal organs. He turns into a tiny appendage on the female's body that simply provides her with DNA. A single female can have up to 6 of these dissolved husbands hanging off her. She literally absorbs them to keep the bloodline going. It is the most extreme type of fusion found in nature. The anglerfish uses light to trick its victims in the dark, but on the surface, there's a creature that uses sound instead of light to deceive. You could be standing in the forest and hear someone starting a chainsaw or a baby crying, but there won't be a soul around. That's because it's all the voice of a single bird playing with your reality. Take a look at this bird. This is the Australian lyrebird. At first glance, it's nothing special, but its vocal cords are the most sophisticated audio processor on the planet. It doesn't just sing, it records and plays back any sound it has ever heard, accurate down to the decibel. Scientists have recorded lyrebirds perfectly mimicking hammer strikes, laser gun sounds from video games, and even the noise of a construction crane. They do it so cleanly that other birds in the forest start to lose their minds, not understanding where a car alarm came from in the middle of the jungle. This isn't just for fun. The male lyrebird builds entire stages in the forest to attract a mate. The more sounds he knows, from a dog's bark to the thrum of a helicopter, the smarter and more attractive he seems to his lady. It is literally a talent show where the grand prize is the survival of the species. And now, get ready to meet the one that breaks the golden rule of biology. It has no brain, no nervous system, and not even eyes. But it thinks faster than entire departments of engineers with their supercomputers. Meet the slime mold. At first glance, it's just a nasty yellow blob on a rotting stump. But scientists are in shock. This organism is a living algorithm. If you put pieces of food in a maze, the slime mold won't just find them. It will build the shortest and most efficient path between them that is mathematically possible. In Japan, they ran a legendary experiment. They placed food on a map in the exact spots where the major cities around Tokyo are located. In just one day, The slime mold built a network of its channels. When scientists compared it to the actual Tokyo subway map, they were stunned. The mold had created the exact same network that engineers had spent decades working on. The slime mold optimized the logistics without a single thought in its head. What's more, it knows how to remember. The slime mold leaves a trail of slime behind that tells it, "I've been here, there's no food left." If you merge two different slime molds, they'll exchange experiences. One will pass on knowledge to the other about where a trap is hidden, simply by fusing into a single whole. The slime mold is pure intelligence in liquid form. It forces us to rethink the very definition of the mind. Maybe you don't need a skull and brains to be smart. We were looking for aliens in the heavens, but we found them in the forest on an old log. Tardigrades, octopuses, intelligent slime. Our planet is a spaceship with the strangest passengers on board. Which of them freaked you out the most? My money is on the slime mold. It feels like it already knows which comment you're going to leave under this video.